What about you? This one here's it's a bit of a revisit. This is a video I did a while ago. There, 12th of August 2019. X431 V Plus on the launch. How to upgrade external memory. I've had a few emails and concerns regarding the storage of these devices, so I'm just going to go over a few things and do a few tests. Before we go into the video, I just want to make it clear, this is all about Android and the different versions of Android. So this is an Apple iPhone and it runs iOS. So I don't know whether X431 will run on iOS. I don't think it does. And this isn't my phone anyway, so there you go. And personally, I don't like these things at all. That is a Samsung Galaxy S5. Now, in the middle of this, I'll be switching to recording on this, so the sound will be maybe change depending on what device you're viewing this video on. So you just have to put up with that. There's nothing I can do about that. I need to show you what's going on here. I need to swap from what I'm recording on this now. This is a Lenovo tablet, which is in the X431 you buy it, and it runs Android 7. This is a Chinese dual operating system. It runs Windows 10 and Android 5, so that's an Android device as well. So this video is only about Android devices, and the sound's going to change. So if you watch this video, it's not even 10 minutes long there. It basically shows you how to take this tablet apart, and that's it there. So we take that tablet apart, and it's a Lenovo tablet that's in it, and you put an SD card in it, and you select it. After you do that, it prompts you. There's a prompt comes up on the screen to share the memory with the SD card. So that's what we've done, and I haven't had any problems since with capacity. So there's been a few concerns, as I said. A few people have been emailing me via the channel, and they've been concerned that they've been hearing about people having bother and stuff like that. So I have a few devices with this X431 software loaded on it, and I'm just going to show you what I've discovered and what the main differences are, and what you can do and what you can't do. So this is a 12-inch tablet that I bought a while ago, and I featured that on the channel as well, and it's a dual boot. It runs Windows and Android, but here's the problem: it runs Android 5. So what I've determined is that the Android number is seriously the issue with storage. So if you have a lower Android version, it doesn't share the storage, or you can't put the data onto the SD card. It goes into the internal storage. Now you can move files over and stuff like that, and that's what I've been doing with this. So, but it doesn't work. that's the main thing from this. So, okay, I have X431 in this, and I have this thing pretty well updated, or it says it's updated. So all that there, whenever you see, yeah. So yeah, there's all the versions there. So that's all what I haven't installed, and that's all, stuff that I'm never going to use, Chinese makes and stuff. So if I screw it right up, that's all the version, update version, current version, and those two there, especially the Benz and the BMW, are very big. It takes ages to download them. So a lot of the other updates, don't take very long at all. So I have this updated, but what happened was, the message came up on the screen. It says you're out of memory. So what I did then was I went into File Explorer. Let me see if I can get that. Now, I'm telling you this because this doesn't work. This is the thing. So I went into this File Explorer, and I looked at the internal storage, and I moved the updates to the SD card through this File Explorer software. So, and that freed the memory away up, the internal memory, and I thought that's brilliant. But when you plug it into your car, it can't find the file, so it's prompting to download it again, and it goes into the internal memory. So even though I have an SD card in this, it doesn't. The X431 software doesn't read it from the SD card. So Android 5, no good. So this is the X431 tablet, and if I go into settings there, and we'll look down, this is Android 7. So let me see if I go into storage. So this has a 64GB SD card, SanDisk SD card on. You can put in up to 128, as I said in that previous video. But so what's going on here is it talks about this shared storage. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a screenshot of that, and we'll be able to look back in the video, and we'll do as many updates as there are available. There's a few updates there, and we'll see how this changes. So there's a few updates available here, and there's a Chrysler one, EOBD, but there's a lot of stuff there that I didn't have in this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to update the whole thing and see what effect that has on the memory sharing. So there was an update that I noticed the other night, which was that Benz one, and those two are quite big, as I said, but Benz and BMW. But what I'm going to do is there's a few there around Mitsubishi, Iveco, and I'm gonna actually just load them all in and see what the memory has. So off camera, we're gonna update this, and we'll take another screenshot. We'll take another look at the memory and see how that is gonna fill this thing up. Okay, that's us. We've installed everything on this Launch tablet here. So as you can see, it's not calling for any updates at all, and I've installed all the Chinese makes and just everything that was available. So we're going to go out of that, and we'll go back into the settings. Oh, not the camera there. And I've written down. I've just written down the what it was before there. So we'll come out of that. So here we go, we're in the storage there, and we'll have 15.28 gigabytes of 74.53. So we'll go into that. So there we go. Internal shared storage is 8.35 gigabytes of 16. So that's the internal SD card, and in the SanDisk SD card, which it's the one I put in it, 6.93 gigabytes. So, okay, what was it before then? Let me see, here we go. So, launch tablet, before update, 15.15 gigabytes, total use 74.53. Internal shared storage was 8.35 of 16, which is the same. And the SD card 6.81 used of 58.53. So that's went up to 6.93 with those updates. So there you go. The updates are going on to the SD card, and the internal isn't changing. So there you go. So we have that much there room for updates in this thing. And what you could do is, if that's getting up pretty high, if it is, what you could do is take the SD card out, reformat it, just wipe it, and then just download the X431 again, and then it'll ignore the previous installations, and it'll do that latest update. So you just start again. So there you are. This is good for a good while yet, and you can go up to 128 gigabyte in this. I actually don't recommend putting in too big of an SD card, because there's a lot of devices don't recognize the higher you go, the more difficult it is to recognize it. Now this apparently does 128, but I just want to talk a wee bit about SD cards. This is a Huawei phone. It's a pretty cheap phone, and this runs Android 10. So the beauty about this, whenever you're up into Android 10, is that you can set it for the default storage as a memory card. So I'll just tell you a wee bit about memory cards in a wee minute, and what I have found the best to use regarding memory cards. So that's Google, www.x431.com, and I hit that there. And what you want to find, and it's probably not in services and support there. I just jumped onto that. So it maybe jumps about in the screen, and hit into the menu and hit services and support. There we go, services and support. And X431 V Plus Android download. So you download that into your phone. You hit that, download that. I've already done it, and I'll just show you that. And it'll probably come up with stuff like you need to, give it permission to this thing. I'll stay in focus here for a minute. Give it permission to download the app from unknown sources, and this may not be secure, and all that sort of malarkey. So it'll prompt you, and you'll go into your settings, and you click on allow downloads from unknown sources, or apps from unknown sources. So that's okay to do that. Just go ahead and click that, and you'll get into that. So you'll then get an icon, and you'll then get an icon up with your apps there, and I'll click that. There's your launch software. Now I've downloaded just a couple there. It's prompting me to log in, so you have to put your username and your password in, and connect it to Wi-Fi, and do a few downloads. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the exact same test here. We're going to look at the memory here, and download a few apps, and download a couple of big ones, and then we'll have a look at the memory again to see where it's being stored, just in case it's going to clog up this phone, which I don't want it to do. So in this Huawei phone here, if I go into settings and storage, and there's the 64 gigabyte memory card I've got in this, and used 19.11, and then the internal storage is 64 gigabytes in this phone, and 24.39 is used. So we can go back. I can go back in this recording and see that. So there's the important thing there. Android 10 will give you this option. You select your default location. So the default location for storage is the memory card. The older Android versions doesn't give you that, and they're out of focus again. So sorry about the focus, guys, because I am recording this on an Android 5 device, and it's pretty rubbish. So anyway, and this Android 5 device, it's a Samsung Galaxy 5 I'm recording this on, and it's what I used to use in my videos when I first started doing videos. And yeah, well, you don't have that option in Android 5 of selecting your default storage location. So that's the big difference. So I have the most of the stuff, all the videos, everything goes on to the memory card. And we'll talk a wee bit about memory cards. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to update a few, or put in a few car makes, the big ones, and we'll see if this makes any difference. Okay, so I've downloaded BMW, Audi, a few European makes there. So a few additional ones that wasn't in the initial in the initial program. So when we'll look at the storage, so the big programs, as I said, was BMW and Mercedes, which also loads in Rolls Royce and Maybach. So we'll have a wee look at what difference that's made to the memory. So I'm going to come out of that. And again, apologise for the focus on this. I've taken a liberty of writing down. So the memory card had 19.11 used, and the internal was 24.39 gigabytes used there. So we'll go into, let me see if I can find this. Settings, storage, and the memory card is now 20.72 gigabytes. So previously that was 19.11, and the internal is 24.39 used, and that's the same as what it was. So those updates have went into the memory card. So there we go. That's provided your default location is the memory card there. So there we go. And then we're out of focus again. So we'll come out of that. And there you are. You can use that on your phone if you want for a quick scan. I'll maybe do a wee demo of that. Right, so there's the phone. If we can get it in focus for you. And Alfa Romeo. Okay. So it comes up there at the top. And on these cars here, well, my car anyway, I've noticed that you sort of need to manually select it. And we'll do a health report. Really focus on this whole phone I'm using is. Right, so there we go. It's going through the health report now. %. So it's gone away there on the phone. And all the updates are in the memory card. So, guys, just in case you're wondering, iOS, this is all Android based. So as far as I know, Apple and iOS, I don't think that this is all for Android. So it's all Android only. And there's a couple of faults there. I'll have a look at that. I'll press the wrong one. So, read fault code. No authorization, no signal. Right, okay. So, sorry about getting out of focus, but there we go. Here's a few SD cards. Well, they're all in devices, but these are the packaging. So you have SanDisk Ultra there, and 2 Extremes. So these Extremes have super speeds, and if you're gonna record in 4K, or you're gonna have lots of data, you need to use these SanDisk Extremes. They are, I have had no problems with them at all. They're a bit dear, but I think on Amazon that 64 gigabyte SanDisk Extreme was £10, and so was that one. That one there, the Ultra, I think that was 15 quid, but it's 128. And that isn't it. That's something else. That's a wee 64 there that I was using in something else. But I've ended up buying loads of these SD cards for that many different devices. But I do recommend moving. I'm just going to buy these here from now on because they're not much more expensive, and it's to do with the data transfer rate. They've just upped the ante with this one here, this brand. Ultra, you would think it was super duper for faster mobile enhanced full HD video. So the guys that are recording 4K, which I am not, because there's just too much data to process. They're all using these here now. So yeah, I would recommend if you're going to buy an SD card for the stick into your X431 or your mobile phone, for that matter, I recommend one I am. They're not much more expensive, if at all. So there you go. Okay, I hope I dispelled some of the myths around this and some of the confusion. It all depends on what Android your system you're on. You need to run a device. If you're going to use a device, it has to be more or less 7 or higher, and 10 is the latest, and it is. I think it's the best. It's improved. Anything less than 7, you're going to have problems storing the data in anything. So there you go. I think I've waffled on for long enough. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you got something out of it, and all the best, and bye bye.